Key of A flat, 100%. That's the go-to bump key right there. The amount of times I feel like giving up is crazy. 100%. That's normal, man. It's normal to want to give up, but what will set you apart is just not giving up. That is going to set you apart from everybody else. When submitting to libraries, do you recommend sending a 5 to 10 track playlist and sticking with a niche? Yes, I do. I'm usually around 5 because I think it's less overwhelming, unless I'm pitching like an entire album, like say like a 10 track album, and I'll just package it as an album. Then I'll do like 10, 7 to 10, but 5, usually 5, get the conversation started. Absolutely. And then I'll stick with a niche. It'll be focused for the most part. Unless, again, if I'm having a conversation with someone and they're like, "Hey, send me like some examples of your work." And that's just to get an idea of production quality. In that case, I'll go ahead, maybe send a variety of stuff. Rich says, this sounds like my wife's garden. Plant seeds for carrots, and months later, you find potatoes by mistake, right? Forgot all about the potatoes. I constantly watching the dirt. Social media being the biggest dirt watcher of all. Delete that joint. That's my tip. When social media gets too distracting, I just delete it. I take all of it off my phone and just lock in. I'm about to do it now. I found myself scrolling on Instagram way too much. Earlier today, I was like, oh, I'm about to delete it. Just delete. Just delete it. It's just not, it's not worth, what it does to your productivity. You know what I mean? And your focus. Just delete it. Come back to it once you get what you want to get done. It's not going anywhere. It'll still be there. And then you'll log in. You'll realize you didn't miss that much. You'll be caught up in like 20 minutes. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on libraries that have due dates for albums in their contracts? I don't mind it. It helps me, honestly, to kind of prioritize things. So I like due dates. And what I found is that a lot of times they're pretty flexible. And most times it ends up being pushed past those due dates. Once you factor in revisions, I'm already, bro, what is it? Let me see. June, July, August. I'm already like 2 months past a original due date that was discussed on a project. Just waiting on revisions and submitting revisions. So I don't stress too much about it. I just I'll communicate with them and kind of keep them up to date. But most have been pretty flexible, for sure. I told them I might delay because I have other projects, and they say that's okay. If I delay, they just have the date on the contract because it requires one. Yeah, exactly. Yep. No big deal. I just did one for podcasts. I just charged a flat rate, and it was a non-exclusive license. Boom, there you go. You have a top grade, mid grade, and low grade, like for the indie artists. Yep. Yep. Exclusivity versus non-exclusivity affects price. Great factors. Rich says, sounds like podcast themes would be a one-off fee, but if the pod is popular, your music will be heard. The podcaster will often credit the composer at the end of the podcast. You can specify how. Yeah. Adam McKillis, founder of the Billboard 500 Club, told this story. In 2019, he and his songwriter partner pitched a song to a South Korean publisher. They did both the lyric and music. 2 years later, okay, I was looking for the rest of the 2 years later, they recorded the song Next Level by, what is it? A Spy has 314 million. They did this with no label, no publishers, no manager. It was a life changer. Crazy. No excuses, man. Just like get it done, put it out there. The The Masa Chip podcast. That's going to be the spinoff of the Music Is My Business podcast. It's going to be the Masa Chip podcast. That's hilarious. I got to get those new limes still. I have to get those so we can talk about those. So we can have a discussion. We need to know. So yeah. Good call on those revision limits. I asked to get a shout out at the end of the podcast as well. Nice. There you go. Bring in more work, man. I was just watching something on charging rates. There's some guys on YouTube that gives insight on that. And yeah, you want to have that narrowed down to a T before you start composing. For sure. Especially if you're doing like music to picture, like scoring. Like I use a completely different like approach to that. Usually it's like a per minute of music. Yeah, I charge per minute of music because when you think about, let's say like a documentary or short film, typically you won't have music playing. Typically you won't have music playing nonstop throughout an entire, 30-minute, 45-minute documentary, right? Usually it's like there's some music here and it stops, then there's some music here and it stops. So, price per minute of music is usually a better approach for something like that, because that could also change as well. And then it's just like the more music you're composing, then the more you actually end up paying versus a flat rate for something like that. You could actually end up burning yourself quite a bit. You know what I mean? Because again, creatives, they get ideas while working on something. They could be like, oh man, you know what? I decided I want some music here. Can we add some of this here? And you told them this low rate in the beginning, and now you went from 5 minutes of music to 30. I don't want that for you. Man, that hit me in the gut. That would be a really bad situation because it's so much time goes into it, man. So much time. And then you start getting those emails for briefs coming in. You're like, I don't even have time because I'm like knee deep in scoring. Birdman, I quit every day, bro. I quit last night. Fooling around with this interface. I was getting all types of noise. I said, you know what? I'm going to bed. I went to bed. I said, I'm not dealing with this. I'll start again tomorrow. Sometimes, yeah, you just gotta get some rest. I was irritated too. I was so irritated. Because it's like, you record a take and you think it sounds cool and you play it back and all you hear is shh. It's like, what is that noise? Just unplug everything. Good night. Charging rates is very hard in the whole music composing area because it can vary so much, like from 500 to 50K. It's crazy. It definitely varies. For sure. Lorenzo Atkinson Jr. has entered the building. What's good? I don't know what my flat rate depends on what the project is. Like Luke said, man, it varies widely. Yep. Birdman's doing per minute fee too. Rich says, I've been developing 30 second to 1 minute cues. These would be perfect for podcast themes. Maybe non-exclusive usage unless they want something more. 100%. Yep. Yep. 100%. Shout out to the new people in the stream, man. Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know what you do. Drop your questions in the chat. I'm talking about sync and production and the struggles that we have. Shout out to Steve. He was in the Sync Producer Hub AA. He had an AA post. He said, I think he said he's been addicted to plugins. It's something he's been struggling with. So we were there to support him through that. You know, that's tough. That's a tough thing to admit to your peers. And then we found out that a lot of us struggle with the same thing, plug-in addiction. We just gather them. We don't necessarily use them. We just get them and we hold them, and then we just have them. And then sometimes we get overwhelmed because we have so many, we can't use them all. And then it just sends us into this deep plug-in depression. And then we just delete a bunch of plugins and then simplify things and then start the cycle all over again. Where's Flares? I don't know, man. He's floating around here somewhere. Yeah, we're doing music reviews in about another 15 minutes or so. Seeing if music is ready for TV and film. It's gonna be dope, per usual. So yeah, we absolutely still do music reviews, man. So we combined it. Lorenzo, it's been a minute. So now it's just one big live stream. You know, where we just chop it up, do Q&A, get people unstuck, and then we spend a little more time on the music reviews because we try and get through as many as we can. So, and then we just hang out and, you know, occasionally test masa chips and random snacks. So yeah, Oliver says, "Wow, I feel very seen." Right? It's crazy, man. It's like we're all going through the same stuff in these studios. I use Web 3.0 to produce music. How do you find the BPS? Is there a site I can upload the song to find the key in BPS? I'm guessing that like beats per second or beats. I usually go by beats per minute. I just use a metronome. I got a metronome app on my phone. I don't have my phone on me right now, but I just use a metronome app and I just tap that joint. Some DAWs you can tap too. Most of them, there's like a tap feature. You can just tap on there. But like to get something quick, I'll just pull out a metronome app and then tap.